Hello, everyone. My name is Roderick D. Talley, and I'm the owner and operator of RD Talley Books Publishing. Now, the holidays are coming up, and something that I realized as an event vendor is that the holiday season around Thanksgiving and Christmas is the season where the most events tend to be available for vendors to participate in. This is great for us because it gives us more opportunities to showcase our products and, i.e., create more opportunities for us to make sales person to person, i.e., direct sales. But something that I realized, especially here on the East Coast, is that this is also the season where the most scamming activity is prevalent. A lot of scammers try to get out there and get your money any way that they can around holiday season. And so I want to give a few tips. I'll say about two or three. We'll go with 3 tips on ways that you can protect yourself as an event vendor from scammers. So now the first tip that I would like to give you all is dedicate some time to research. I'm not talking about researching about 2 or 3 hours a day on certain events like you did in college or anything like that. But usually about 15 to 30 minutes can usually give you enough time to find out some information as to, help you to decide whether or not you want to move forward with a event. The first thing I would advise you to research is the history of an event. Look for specific details. If an event does well, coordinators are usually quick to boast, or not necessarily boast, but they're proud to announce give the details of past events. They're glad to give results. Like, for instance, they'll be good to tell you how many attendees came at a previous event, especially if the event is growing and they're bringing in more and more attendees each time they do the event. They're usually going to announce that either on a flyer, or they're going to be quick to tell you that in person. So ask for specific details like the amount of foot traffic, what kind of people, how's the spending power of the people that usually come, how often, if you can, tell us how often each person usually spends on average, things like that, if they have that details available. But don't be afraid to ask those questions, because any decent event coordinator will be honest with you and they'll try to answer your questions the best of their ability. Be careful for vague answers. Usually somebody will try to say, oh, the event does great, or all our vendors do well, they sell well. That's very vague, that's very general. It's like, because that's not saying what kind of vendors you had. What do you mean by sell well? Because that's very subjective. It's a subjective term, saying sell well, because well to one person may not be so well to another person. And so that's one thing you really want to look for. If you cannot find the history of an event, then I strongly advise you to research the person that is making the announcement, or the event coordinator that's throwing the event. Research them, see if they've thrown any events in the past. That usually helps with seeing if they have any experience in this level, or see what kind of results. That could be an indicator as to what kind of results you may have with the event, because you want to see if they present the results from their past events, and also how they market their events as well. Sometimes I've definitely been in events, and I'm pretty sure all of you vendors have faced a situation where you've been in events where the coordinator would not market or promote the event very well, which is very odd to me. Or sometimes they would depend on the vendors to promote the event. Those are events that you kind of want to keep an eye out for. Those are kind of red flags right there. If they want you, of course, you want people to spread the word about what you're doing, especially the people that's involved. But if they're depending on you to promote the event, that's a red flag right there. So keep an eye out for that kind of stuff. The second tip I want to give is pay for your vending fees through secured avenues. PayPal is pretty good. because you can track it. You can send invoices. Businesses use services such as PayPal or other services that might cost a little less than PayPal, because you can create actual business invoices for those, and you can track those invoices. And you can track those your accounts receivables, your accounts payables, all that stuff with PayPal. What you want to try to avoid, especially if you don't know this person, know the event coordinator in person, what you want to try to avoid is using Cash App. Now, I understand sometimes you got to take that chance, especially if you're new to the area, to a certain area like myself. I just moved to the East Coast a couple of months ago. And so I'm having to take some chances on some of these coordinators. Because I simply don't know anybody in this whole state. I'm in New Jersey and I don't know anyone in the state of New Jersey. So I'm having to take some chances. So those are things you're going to have to use a judgment call on. That's where the research really comes into play. That's where it could really help. If you take some time to research and find some information, usually you can find some good information, some decent information, like, all right, this person throws pretty decent events. They really promote their events pretty well. I have a chance of doing really well, let alone, or at least making my table back, So try to avoid Cash App, because those usually go into personal accounts. That can go directly into a checking account. PayPal can, and Venmo can as well, but PayPal usually are favored by actual business people with like the business licenses, certificates, permits, all that stuff, because you can, like I say, you can make the invoices, you can track transactions on it. And Cash App, you can do the same as well, but those usually go directly into a personal account, and it's kind of harder to track that stuff on Cash App. So that's the second tip. And the last tip that I want to give y'all really quick is don't allow a coordinator or an event person to rush you into making a payment. Now, I know that like some coordinators like to try to get their vendors locked in for an event ahead of schedule by a certain time, and that's great. That's understandable. But something that I've realized as a vendor is that things change last minute all the time. With probably every single event that I've done in the year that I've been doing events, and I've done at least 3 or 4, on average about 3 or 4 events per month, there's always been last minute changes. And so they know how to adjust to that, they expect that kind of stuff. So unless the event is like the very next day, I highly advise you to stay away from events that are demanding a quick payment. If they're constantly hassling you, especially if they're not answering your questions, if they answer your questions with a vague answer, and then they always keep bringing back, oh, go ahead and make the payment at this, I would pay attention to those and kind of do a little more research into people that's doing that, into those kinds of events. I'm not saying that that's necessarily that means that they are scamming you or looking to scam you. It's just that you want to find out more information. Usually scammers are more likely to try to get you to take sudden action with your money. Yet they're kind of slow to actually answer any vital questions like event details, if I need to bring my own table. If not, what kind of tables will you provide? Things that we need to know as vendors in order for us to make a quality presentation for the event. So, I really hope that these tips help you all this season in your ventures as event vendors. Congratulations on your business, and please protect your business. I want to thank you for tuning in. Until next time, God bless you all. Here at RD Talley Books Publishing, we are doing several things to help other writers and artists achieve the goals that they have set forth for themselves. If you'd like to view any more information, or if you have any specific question as to how we could be of assistance to you, feel free to visit our website at www.rdtalleybooks.com, or you can email me directly at rodericktalley@gmail.com.